Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue a director's spotlight for Wes Anderson. We have covered his entire filmography up to this point, and last Friday, we covered the first two of his new short films from the stories of Roald Dahl, The Wonderful Story of 𝘾𝘼𝙧𝗎𝗏, and The Swan. Today, we cover the last two, The Ratcatcher and Poison. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Man, we're on the other side of the West weekend, baby. It was a good time. I had just a blast. I'm glad that sad to see it go, but I loved having it here.
It was weird to wake up and not have a West short for one day. I was getting kind of used to it. 4 days in a row, I'm like, okay, this is very nice. And the next day I woke up and I was like, oh wait, there's nothing waiting for me. You know, nothing new at least. Went back and rewatched them all though. I don't know. I've seen all of them. Definitely at least twice. I'd say I'm getting close to 3 for all of them, though.
Yeah, I've watched. I watched both of these the day it came out. That was, and I wanted to watch it only twice before we got on the podcast, so I prevented myself from, because we had a little more time to sit with these two than we did the first two. So I wanted to come into it with kind of the same perspective, only 2 viewings going into the podcast, and kind of work on my thoughts from there. But I did the full watch yesterday to get to my second viewings of The Ratcatcher and Poison. That was my 3rd viewing of 𝘾𝘼𝙧𝗎𝗏, my 4th viewing of The Swan, and my 2nd viewing of each of these. But I love these, dude. Like, pretty cool. As a collection, all 4 together, if this was one movie, this would be one of my favorites of the year, and there's like zero fucking doubt about it.
More than Asteroid?
Asteroid's my one of the year, so that is top 1 favorite of the year.
There's a guy to do it. If there's a guy to beat out these 4 shorts right here, it would be the man himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could find itself. I mean, because I have 𝘾𝘼𝙧𝗎𝗏 at 8 on my 2023 ranking, so it found its way pretty high. And I've watched like 35 2023 things, so like it's up there.
Okay.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy these. I think that if it was all cut together in a single film, though, it would climb a couple spots. I think they all add more to the one before it. I think and getting to rewatch it, having watched all of them, it kind of there's an interesting sort of thematic tie about these, especially in these two, about this one person who has like their pride wounded. They're so confident that they are correct. They're so confident that what they think is right. And when they are proven wrong, they do everything they can to tear down the people around them, scare them. What the Ratcatcher does, and the Ratcatcher, and what Benedict Cumberbatch's character, Harry, was it Harry or?
That sounds right.
Mr. Pope. I remember it was Mr. Pope.
Harry, yes.
Yeah. The way that he tears down Dr. Ganderby after he's done everything he can to help him, because he was so confident that there was a snake on his stomach, and then there was not a snake on his stomach.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. These stories are very, very simple. They're 17 minutes each, so you can't really do a whole lot in here. But what they accomplish is like, I don't know, it makes you think a little bit. Each one of them do, and is technically the Ratcatcher first? That's the one?
Yes, the Ratcatcher is the first one. Poison came out on Saturday. Yeah,
and I don't know. So you didn't notice the missing poster?
Not the first time around. The second time I did.
Okay.
When you said the missing poster, I thought literally they'd like released promotional material of a poster for the Ratcatcher.
Oh,
and it's like not anywhere to be found. So like I took it as a missing poster, not a missing poster. You know what I'm saying?
You. Yes, missing persons poster.
Yes, no, I did notice that. And and the first time around, actually, like I did with the Ratcatcher that I was up at 2 a.m. So I just watched it.
Oh, okay.
And that definitely affected my viewing of it. Like for sure, because the second time around I was like, oh, I fucking love this one, But the first time it was very easily my least favorite. I found the Ratcatcher grotesque. I thought that Ralph Fiennes, and you're supposed to, yeah. You're not supposed to think he's cool. But like the first time I watched it, his characterization actively made me like the short less. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah. Okay. The second time around, that was not the case. But the first time around, I was like, it's 2 a.m. I've watched The Swan and Henry Sugar previously, and the Swan got a little dark, but they were ultimately like, aw, sweet. Yeah. Love that. Okay. And then this fucking guy came in and ate a fucking rat's head.
That's true. Yeah, this one didn't really have like an ending that was like, wow, okay, well at least it's kind of like,
at least there's a silver lining. No, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing.
Yeah, that's true. This one's just straight up, homie comes in, can't kill any rats, gets pissed off, so he tries to show off, and he
gotta be clever in this job.
Yeah, puts a rat and a ferret. I love how he says, like in the sewer, what the fuck, dude? What is this lineup, by the way? We watch After Hours not too long ago.
Yeah,
and
the Plaster of Paris.
What is this a common thing? Is this like is that a known thing? The first time I've ever heard of it in my life was After Hours, and then now I hear it in this brand new Wes Anderson short.
Yeah, Plaster of Paris, I think it's literally it's just
it's what you use for paper. Oh wait. Oh no.
Yeah, it's a dry mix. Like that's what it is. So
setting plaster consisting of a fine white powder which hardens when moistened and allowed to dry.
Which would make sense if you allow rats to gnaw on it, that it would dry within their...
What's the of Paris? Like plaster isn't enough? Is Paris... I don't understand it.
I don't know.
I don't get it. But it was really weird hearing that twice.
Yeah, I thought that might come up. That's funny.
Back. But anyways, he says like, yeah, nothing will kill a rat faster. No, maybe not even more of a humane way to do it. It's just nothing will kill a rat faster. Then he pulls the ferret out. Nothing will kill a rat faster than a ferret. He literally just. I feel like the dude. It feels like he knows what he's talking about, but at the same time, I don't know.
He does a lot of repeating himself. Not only does it seem like he's trying to assure these people that he knows what he's doing, but he's trying to reassure himself that he's right. He's that this thing which he has very clearly devoted his entire essence to, his entire being, his whole thing has been dedicated to rats. It's his whole life, very obviously. I mean, his entire appearance, he is a rat man, like that is what it's literally his character name.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's this interesting thing that happens between him and Rupert Friend's character, Claude, where they are both trying to feel better than the other. Like they both have like an inferiority complex that they try to, like, this mechanic calls in the rat catcher, and obviously since he needs somebody's help, he feels like he's superior because he's like, you need my fucking help. So what Rupert Friend's character tries to do is cut him down a little bit, like, hey, this is your job. Doesn't sound that hard though. Like I'm sure whatever you do, it'll be
job.
good.
That'd be pretty simple. And he's like, why would that even be tricky, dude? That's easy as fuck. He's like, no, you gotta think about it. It's a little more tricky than you think.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay.
Exactly. And then by the end, Rupert Friend's character is giving him the means to prove that he is not as good a person, quote unquote. He's like, yeah, I'll bet you. He's egging the entire thing on. Because even Richard Ayoade's character, the reporter, is like, I looked at him hesitantly. I didn't like this. I did not think this was a good idea. And he's like, no, I'll bet you a shilling. Let's fucking do this thing. So
started at £1 or whatever, and he's like, no, I'll bet you a shilling. He's like, oh, you want me to do this for a shilling or whatever? So it's like even worse. You're really gonna kill this rat. You're gonna do this for.
I began to feel the line that he says there, where he's like, I began to feel bad for the rat, not because it was about to die, but that it was about to be it was about to be killed in a specific way and with a certain degree of enjoyment. And that was a good line. I was close to picking that one.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I liked that rat too. The fact that they just had like a little stop motion rat,
and the fact that it starts to take over for the Rat Man's dialogue.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like it took over for a little bit, and then Rupert Friend becomes the rat. And I was trying to look like if there was some, just to make it look more dramatic, or if there's like some.
I think it kind of speaks to what I was going on a little bit, that they're not actually all that different. The only thing that separates them is his willingness to take the action. This person couldn't help but egg it on. This person couldn't help but watch what was going to happen. And so I think that he's trying to say, Wes and Roald Dahl are trying to say that this mechanic had as big a part to play in this rat's demise as the Rat Man himself did.
If they just would have paid no attention to it or been like, whatever, like just do your job, man. We don't really want to, like, whatever. No need to pull him out of the box in the first place and bite him. Dude just bit it. Like, what did he do specifically? Did he like bite his head off? Did he bite like just a swift one bite? That's all.
I'm pretty sure it was like to the neck. Like,
and then just
the shot of him like spitting out the blood. It was like 2:15. I was like, I'm good. Fuck this.
They use rat's blood to make licorice in the factories. It's what they don't tell
he's, like,
you.
Smiling, and then the way that Richard Ayoade explains, he's like, he realized his audience was no longer with him.
Yeah. Ooh, man. At first, whenever he popped up, and I was like, man, is this actually Ralph Fiennes? Like, I'm like, I don't know, the hair and the eyes, like the
dude, the dark fucking eyes and the teeth, and the way that it gets more and more extreme as they get to that like dramatic lighting where he does, because that's my scene and my shot. Dude, that whole sequence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it has to be the scene. That's I mean, that's just kind of the scene.
Yeah, my shot specifically when they're facing off with each other and Richard Ayoade, the narrator's facing back, and then he looks behind him, and the dramatic lighting is flushing them out a little bit. Like, that was that recently at I can't remember if it was the Venice Film Festival or Telluride or whatever, but whatever these debuted at, Wes Anderson went on stage and talked about some of his influences, like just in general in filmmaking. And one of the ones he pointed to is Spike Lee, director of Malcolm X and Do the Right Thing and all sorts of great fucking movies. And that one kind of shocked me because it's never been super evident. I don't think like there's a vague influence specifically thing on a lot of his work, but it's not so specific as that scene and those shots when it like dramatically lights up that way, and Richard Ayoade turns back to the camera and they're facing off, and he's behind them narrating, and then he's in a different spot. Like, it's just a beautiful sequence that was very, very Spike Lee. Like, that was directly influenced by him, and it was just cool to hear him say that recently, and then to see it so obviously depicted, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about what the where Wes gathers inspiration from. It feels like, because me watching Wes, I feel like people gather inspiration from him. You know, it's like
it feels pretty one of a kind.
Yeah, like how could I mimic, or not necessarily mimic, but like how could I even get close to something like this? But then there has to be some inspiration. Wes got to get it from somewhere. Unless he's just like that. Who knows? Maybe this is just his brain. This is just what's going on inside Wes's brain all the time. This is just how he sees stories being told. I don't know. The shot was really simple. I really liked it. It was just all of them peeking their head in the sewer, just down the long tube, and all of them just having a little peek down the end of the sewer. It is also, whenever they said plaster of Paris, so it was kind of this weird moment as well. Right. I was like, ooh, that's a cool shot. And then like plaster of Paris, I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, hold on, and the fact that it was after hours as well, the fact that it's this weird ass just fever dream of a movie, and then I'm like, okay, what's going on?
We'll be discussing After Hours this Friday on the Penny Bloom podcast as a part of the Director's Spotlight for Martin Scorsese.
Oops, time travel.
That's okay.
But that's just really, the fact that they come on the same week though of the pod. That's really weird.
There you go.
Really, really weird.
Especially when we record so much in advance, and this was kind of an impromptu addition to the schedule. You know, like there's. It is always weird the way things line up.
It was strange. But then I heard it, and I'm like, okay, this has to be a common thing. I'm like, there's no way. But I've heard plaster, I guess, before in my life, but of Paris, I've never heard that saying, and I hear it completely in After Hours, and then this one. But yeah, no, I think in this one, you said you didn't really like Ralph Fiennes, the character. It actively kind of turned you off of it. I was
brilliant.
Dude, I was all in at the jump. I was like, oh, dude, I'm fucking with this. Like, just everything he said, like, the way, like, the whole costume design, his fingernails, his teeth, the eyes, the hair, the jacket, the little satchel, little bag that he had. The fact that he pulls out the poison, it's just not even there.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, like with his mouth. I'm like, okay, I don't know.
No rock composition oat.
Yeah, rice or grain. What is that? Rice, oats. Or man, he felt like he was on a lecture. Everything he was saying, he was teaching a lesson. You know,
he was trying. You know, that's and I. There is something so ominous about that part. You know, when you get to the end, and he's like, they must be well fed on something else in that hayrick. And then earlier when he surrounded the hayrick, and he's like, they must be feeding on something large and juicy. They must have plenty to eat, you know. And then you get to that, and you're like, oh, they're eating a person. That's
yeah.
That's dark.
I was on the first watch. I didn't piece together that that this dude is dead and that he's being eaten.
I didn't put that together either.
I did not put that together at first, but I saw the poster. Like kind of, it was one of the first things I saw, because it's like in the opening shot. Like it's it's right there the whole time, and I'm like, I don't know why, it just looked like Owen Wilson to me, and I'm like, oh my god, is Owen Wilson in this short? Like, am I gonna see Owen Wilson in this 17-minute short right now? I'm like, is that really gonna happen? And then. So it was just in the back of my mind kind of the whole time. And then whenever Ralph Fiennes said that line of like, there's got to be something big, juice, like, cause that was kind of in the middle. It wasn't like at the end when it was like kind of made clear, when it was like,
when Richard Ayoade looks off and he's like, they must be,
it must be something very nutritious or something. Like, I don't know, they focused on like one word, and then he looked like at the poster, and I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. But like when I caught it there, I'm like, no way Owen Wilson's dead, right? Like if Owen Wilson is in this, no way he's just a dead body, bro.
Right.
Wow,
Wow, Mr. Ratcatcher, they they ate me, man. Wow.
No, I don't know. It would have just been
What a lemon.
Incredible to see him pop up in here because I don't know why. I'm trying to look at the poster right now just to see if it. I mean, a bearded, hobo-ish Owen Wilson for sure. Yeah, I mean it's not really at all, but I don't know. I see it a little bit, like just an older.
No, I didn't fixate on it too much. Because the second time around is when I really caught that, and I was like, oh yeah, this is and I can't emphasize enough how much better my second viewing of this was than my first viewing. Like this is now probably my second favorite of the shorts. There's something very nice about The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar that like just brings me a lot. Like that'll be a nice little comfort movie too, like it's sweet, it's nice. There's not a lot in it that makes you go like, oh fuck, that's bad,
Yeah, no, Henry Sugar's definitely the cream of the crop of these shorts, that's for sure. I haven't added them into my list yet, but I'm pretty sure I'd say probably Poison is on the bottom of these shorts.
Yeah, we're just saying a lot.
Yeah, and it's good. Yeah, it's still good. Henry Sugar's definitely at the top. Poison's definitely at the bottom, and I feel like Swan or Ratcatcher could kind of. I feel like Swan's kind of better though. I don't know.
No, that's my thing. Is that
a little more going for it?
But what's interesting is that I think Henry Sugar and Ratcatcher are probably my two favorite, but they're probably the two worst. And then Poison and the Swan are my least favorite, and those are probably the two best. I think you can make an argument. Like, funny enough, I think the last three are better than The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Like, I think all three of the shorts after Henry Sugar are better made than The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I think there's a simplicity to them that they get across, and because it's 17 minutes, they have a lot more heavy lifting to do and a lot less time, and it's fascinating to see how he's capable of doing that. But regardless, I've got Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, The Ratcatcher, The Swan, Poison. That's my order.
I think I would just switch The Swan and Ratcatcher for me. I think I kind of liked them in the order they came out, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the one I will revisit the most, I feel, is Henry Sugar, without a doubt. Like, I think if I'm coming back to one, I'm watching that one. It's more. There's just more substance there. I guess it's. I'm in it for a longer time.
Yeah, there's a lot more to chew on for sure. It's like two of these 17-minute ones put together, and then
Yeah, let's say you wanted to kind of edit these into a movie, maybe like French Dispatch style. You think just Roald Dahl would be like the glue of it all?
Oh yeah, he'd be the Arthur Howitzer. Like, I don't think you'd have to change anything about this if you cut it together. You would just, you'd have like the little message at the end that's like the Ratcatcher was based on a man that Roald Dahl knew, which is fucking crazy. And then it would just be like Poison, roll right into it. Like there wouldn't have to be much of there's like nothing you'd have to change.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool to see if like it cuts back to Roald Dahl, and then you get where he heard the story first through like his eyes or something like that, and that's like the glue of it. I don't know. I was trying to think of a way to like kind of make this into a movie, and it would definitely have to be French Dispatch. Like, there's no glue between the actual stories themselves. really.
Beyond
Maybe
Roald
there's
Dahl.
some similar themes.
There's some thematic elements that overlap, and I think they're all kind of about isolated figures who have honed this ability to do something. Or
they all do seem very isolated. I guess in Poison, it's the only one where it's kind of left up in the air. It's kind of like what are they doing there? What Henry Sugar, was this just lonely, rich, only child, or whatever? And then, in The Swan, very lonely kid just gets bullied on. The rat catcher. Obviously, this dude's just been by himself, and rats have been his company.
Yeah. I always have one or two rats about me.
Poison, I guess, is, I don't know, do they give a little backstory to good old Harry?
No, Harry and Woods. They seem to be buddies at the very least, you know. There's
is that just their house? Like they're just roommates?
Yeah, their bungalow. Just roommates. I don't know. I kind of take it that they're together. The way that Woods kind of looks after him a little bit. I mean, like, your homie's in a precarious position where he could have a snake on his stomach, and you take a lot of care. Like that's not something you take lightly. There was just a vibe about them that I got where I was like, I think these two might be into each other.
Okay.
But regardless, I think that the isolation is a lot less literal in that one, with him being under the covers, unable to move, unable to speak, like he is.
I see.
He is isolated.
Can't do anything. Dude literally can't do anything.
Yeah.
He can whisper and twitch his mouth. You just get a little angry. But no, as far, I guess, let's see if we haven't covered any of our rat catcher favorites yet. I haven't given my line yet. No, there were a few. There was one where he was like, "You got a dog?" Like, yeah. He's like, "If you want him to die a horrible, painful death or whatever, let him through that gate." And I was like,
right.
I don't know, that's a way to deliver that, to be like, if you want him to die,
I'll let your dog through here.
Yeah, okay. I didn't go with that though. I don't know why. It's just the way he said, like, it's just the way he says this. But I think it was after the sewer explanation. He was like, "Well, this is what I would actually." Oh no. He was like, "I'll put just some oats down first. They'll eat them up, and they'll come, and they'll the next day, they'll get fatter. They'll be happy, and then I'll put the poison down." And then Rupert Friends, he's like, "Clever," and he goes, "You gotta be clever on this job, cleverer than a rat," and that's saying something. And then that's when Reporter, do they have names, or is it just Ratman, Reporter, and Mechanic?
Mechanic is Claude.
Claude. Claude's the only name.
Reporter never.
Wow, editor / report. Huh, interesting. But yeah, I guess. And then editor goes, "You almost got to be a rat yourself." And I literally, whenever he said that, I was thinking, I'm like, this dude's just a fucking rat. I'm like, he's gotta be cleverer than a rat. I'm like, why be cleverer than a rat? Just, you became a rat, dude. I was just kind of thinking it. It was, I don't know, it was really funny. But I like the delivery of, Ray finds that you gotta be cleverer than a rat on this job. And then, you almost got to be a rat yourself. He's like, "Oh, it just came out of me. I didn't want to say it, but I did." He felt bad for saying it. I don't know. He was
and then the rat catcher was happy with that. He's like, "Yeah,
now you said something.
Yeah,
you said something now." Yeah, he's like, "That's the best compliment you could have ever given me in my life. I've been working for this, waiting to hear this every single day. It's all what I do. I kill rats. Everybody's got rats."
Did the Ratman at all? I know we talked last episode about how he kind of reminded you of Franklin Bean and his character design.
Off the trailer, more watching the episode, not really, but a little
more
bit.
Off the episode, the hair, the corduroy jacket, the corduroy pants, the little bag. That man was Wes Anderson.
Okay.
He looked just
that-
like what I mean, like a much more disgusting, grotesque version of Wes Anderson. But he looked like Wes Anderson.
Okay.
And I was curious if there's any projection he's doing onto this where he, as a creative, you know, he feels like he's dedicated his life to this thing, and every once in a while when people feel like they're above it or they don't, they're like, you just do your thing and that's all you do, you know, like if he's like, no, there's more to it, you got to be cleverer than that, you know, like if there's something there a little bit where he identifies with the rat catcher to a degree, because that ends up being sort of the visual indication to me.
Okay. Yeah. I guess if he's putting himself onto this character, is he trying to say that like he is just a normal guy too, just making movies, you know, like he can make mistakes, you know, like he's not, like he might be an expert at it and like he does well. Like obviously this he's called in straight from the health office, you know, so it's like this dude's known for what he does. Wes called in straight to Netflix, you know. Maybe he's just trying to be like, you know, I just do what I do, you know, and it's not got to be something grand.
No, yeah, because like I said, I know that I come away from this, and you're supposed to come away from this thinking like this man's disgusting. He took this too far, you know.
Yeah.
Like before, it was like, you got a shtick. This is like your thing, okay. And then you know he spits out rat's blood, and you're like, okay, well,
all right,
you know, this is you're kind of fucked up, man. This is not cool.
Actually, insane.
Yeah.
You're just, I mean, no one does that, you know? No one bites a rat.
But I think, like, I do think they are trying to make a point where, like, he's not terribly outside the box compared to, like I said, with Rupert Friend's character. Like, they have a certain degree in common, you know? Like, they do have a little bit that kind of makes them similar. And in trying to prove himself, he made himself a fool. You know, pride cometh before the fall, you know, that sort of thing. Like he was like, I got to show these motherfuckers. I know what I'm doing. This is my shit. I figured this out. And so maybe the moral of the story is that he's got to stay humble, you know, a little bit. Got to stay grounded.
I just don't get, like, he even says, he's like, is there anything, are you sure there's not anything inside of the 𝗋𝘗𝗋𝘃𝗃?
𝗋𝘃𝗃, yeah.
𝗋𝘃𝗃. And there's food in there? Is that just where the town stores their food? Like, what the... I've never heard of a 𝗃𝘃𝗃 before.
Yeah, we don't, you know, we live in Missouri, and those listening might be surprised to see.
I feel like I should know.
Don't.
But I feel like he was like, are you sure there's not anything inside of there? You know, are you sure they're not getting to your food supply? You could be sick. Are any of you sick? Oh. Maybe that's just like hay that the animals eat, and then the people eat the animals, and then that's how they would get. Or is it like a literal food store? You know, is there like? It's not like a little hut, is it?
No, yeah, I think you're on. Oh, I mean, I think you have to have the ability to go inside of it. There's a ladder that goes up to the top of it.
That's true.
Which they also interestingly never acknowledge why you would need to go on top of the 𝗃𝘃𝗃.
It felt to me like it was like a pantry situation.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, it's like, why in heck? They have buildings.
Are there any more discernible details on the missing poster?
Not really. You can't really make out a whole lot. It's very...
yeah, I was gonna say, is there like an occupation or something to assigned to the man or anything like that?
because I was trying to think, like, did the rat catcher kill this dude and plop him in there? And because, like, did he not go in there and check it out? And, like, he was suspicious of something being in there, and he didn't really do anything. And then, like, they're not eating the poison, and I guess that's when he gets all pissed off. He's like, all right, now I got to prove my worth to these guys, because the rats weren't dead or whatever. Yeah, it is big. Yeah, there is a ladder. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know, but I was trying to think. Yeah, I don't think he would have.
No, I don't think he did it by any means.
Missing 3 weeks. It says missing for 3 weeks. Old 𝘾𝘼𝙏𝗀𝙏𝙀𝙍. Is that old?
𝘾𝘼𝙏𝗀𝙏𝙏𝙍.
Old 𝘾𝘼𝙏𝗀𝙏𝙏. Yep. Yeah.
It was like if he's a farmer or a kind
of looks like a farmer
of some sort.
He's he's got a farmer look to him.
My best guess for this poor fella is that he climbed up that ladder, fell into the hay rick, and didn't.
And rats have been feasting on him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's my best guess.
Eesh. But yeah, I don't know. What a weird way to end this one. Just a ferret kills a rat, and then a human rat kills a rat, and then they're like, "All right, dude, just get the fuck out of here." Like they're like, "Just get out."
That's why I had to go with 𝗔𝗱𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as the editor/reporter for my character. Because he was never instigating it, but he does admit the morbid fascination that anybody would have. He's the one who's like, I was frozen. I could not look away. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I had to see.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to watch it, but like you're not going to look away. Yeah, it's like you got to watch it.
It's my line is from him as well. After the rat man has put the ferret and the rat in his shirt, and then he pulls them out, and he goes, "I don't think I like that very much."
Yeah, what a weird way to do it too. Put them in your shirt, and like, okay.
It's the connection he feels like he needs to put off.
Part of it. He needs to be part of the show. It's literally just a ferret killing a rat, but he's still making himself like the
center of it. Yeah,
center of it all. Definitely a weird one.
Maybe there's something there about projecting your entire importance onto something that is outside
not even you.
Outside of your control too. Like, the ferret is going to kill the rat, but you don't control the ferret and make the ferret kill the rat. You don't make the rat eat the food. You set food out, and also maybe the rat will come and eat it. Also
he's saying that like killing rat, you got to be cleverer than a rat and all this stuff. But like at the end of the day,
you
just you either feed him for a few days and then poison him, or you just poison him, or you just trap him. There's not much else you can do. It's not a very tricky operation, but he's making it seem that it's like surgical, like, oh, no way. You think it's a simple job.
Well, then that's the other thing too, is that like, now I think we're falling into the same thing that Rupert Friend fell into, his character, where it's like, somebody's got to do it, and it's got to take a certain degree of cleverness. And all this, it's when you inflate your self-importance to such a degree that we start going, "You piece of shit." Nope. And that's what he did. He inflated his self-importance to the point where he was like, "You need me, you bitches, you don't know, I know, and I'm better than you for it." And it's like, nah, stay humble, bruh. You know how to do this, and I don't know how to do this. You handle it. I'll pay you the money that is required, and that's that. It's a job, and hey, man, respect, and that's all it's got to be. But when you conflate your self-importance with your job, it can be a problem.
Yeah. Can you hear that lawnmower in the background, by the way? Sorry if you can.
I cannot. No, we're good.
Okay, good. But I think it's like you want someone to be passionate about their job. You know, you want like someone you're hiring, you want to be passionate, but this is like passion is taking him a little bit too far.
Yeah.
I think he's gone
Especially
a little bit past the line.
Killing, you know, like
Yeah, that's true. That is a weird one. It is killing rats, I guess, but to take such pride in it and to do it literally yourself, is a little bit different.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's just he's taken this thing that he does just a bit too far. That's all. Like
I've only had one experience with rats or mice or anything ever in my life. Actually, two, I guess. But one where I was like confronted with like, should we just kill these rats? Like, and I don't know, they were just in our front yard. I think the mother was like gone, and it was just a bunch of baby like mice or rats or something like that. And my grandpa was over at the time, and he's very old fashioned. You know, the dude fought in the Korean War. Dude's like, I don't know. He was like, all right, let me just put him in a plastic bag and smack him on the ground. I was like, oh my God. You know, me and my brother, we were like, I don't know how old I was at the time, probably like 15, I'd say at the oldest, me.
Right.
And then my brother instantly was just like, no. He was like, oh my God. He was like, holy crap. Like, you would do that? He was actually appalled. And we just took them down the street and let them into the woods. You know, they're baby mice into the woods. I don't know. They probably didn't make it very far anyways without their mother. But, like, I don't know. I guess it was better than...
Gave them a chance. Better than getting smashed on the fucking ground.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's like, it's a weird thing to, like, take just to take an animal's life. Like, it's weird knowing that, like we're in a position where we could just make that decision so easily.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, so easily. And they could have this,
you know, maybe there's something to that as well within the context of Wes's filmography and the admirance he's held for animals and the sort of the inclusion he's had with them in a lot of his stories.
Yeah.
Is there something here where if he didn't take such joy in it, you wouldn't think this dude was necessarily terrible. It's the fact that he is so happy to do it that you're like, okay, you motherfucker, like, quit being such a fucking weirdo. Oh
yeah.
And I appreciate that's why I went with the reporter Richard Ayoade as the character, because he so concisely was like, this piece of shit, man. Like, what a cunt, you know? I'm glad that Wes recognized that Richard Ayoade has the voice to narrate one of these. I'm glad he was like, this is the guy who's going to tell one of the stories, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because his narration voice, I mean, I loved Rupert Friend's performance more in The Swan, but his narration of this was probably the best in the entire little...
Is this the best narration? Okay.
I think so, for me.
Okay. I'll make an argument for Poison, for Dev Patel.
Gotcha. But
I really liked his narration.
He was good. He was very good.
But this was good. I did like the range of narration he had to go on here, like that, like when it started being very dramatic and like he's killing, you know, about to strike with his, you know, teeth or whatever, and he's in the background like just narrating the whole thing, and it's all, I don't know, cut, like the shots are cutting in between.
The tension is building and building. Yeah, it's
there's not more than a hand space in between their faces or whatever. Like, I don't know, he didn't make it all dramatic, and I don't know. You might be right there, actually, that he did have the best narration in the shorts.
I liked it a lot. At the very least. But are we ready to give this one a rating?
I think we are there.
I think this one kind of finds itself somewhere between Henry Sugar and The Swan at a 9 and an 8.5.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's definitely not an 8.5. It's either an 8.75 or a 9, and it's just, is it on the same level as Henry Sugar?
I'm more inclined to give it an 8.75 and slot it right in between. I think that's
that seems way more correct to me as well.
Seems perfect, actually. I think we've got a perfect little setup here going into the last one as well. But critically, how are we feeling about the Ratcatcher in comparison to these other two? You know, we gave Henry Sugar an 8.25. We gave the Swan an 8.5. I think it's probably closer to that 8.5, you know, for me personally anyway.
Trying to see if I could discern anything, if there's anything that stands out on this one compared to the others. I'd say it's just this one's you have way more of a character here.
Yeah,
like the Rat Man was the Rat Man. I don't know.
I'll grant the other ones this. This is probably my least favorite looking of the shorts. Personally, I think Henry Sugar is probably still my favorite looking, but I did think the Swan looked better, and later on, I think Poison looks better than this one as well. This obviously, I enjoyed the way it looked. Don't get me wrong, but I do enjoy the way the others looked a bit more. I think I think they're a little bit more enticing. I think the story. Yeah, I'm actually swinging around to the point where I think the Swan is probably better than this, and in almost every way.
I think so. I think so as well. It's either. I feel like it's kind of there as well. It's either 8.25 or 8.5. I don't know. I think the Swan just has a little bit more. It has a little bit more of an emotional impact, and that gives it a little bit more of a bump.
That's fair.
I think I'm around 8.25 for me.
Let's go ahead and throw it that then.
And that would average it out to an 8.42, so just barely below Henry Sugar. And the Swan at 8.5 averages. So I think I like that. I do agree. I do agree.
Let's talk a little bit of Poison, huh? This was felt like a fitting end, which is kind of bizarre. You know, it felt like a fitting, like this is the last one, and there's a very specific reason for that for me, where again, I think we have a character who very meta, in a very meta sense, kind of captures Wes Anderson to a degree. And it is Benedict Cumberbatch's Mr. Pope laying there. And it's this intense control the entire time. You know, like he has control over the situation. He knows exactly what the problem is. He knows exactly what needs to be done about it. And the second more hands start getting involved, the less he likes it.
Oh.
And then the entire facade of all four shorts up to a point collapses. And we get the most unique camera moment of the entire series of shorts whenever Benedict Cumberbatch flips the fuck out, jumps off the bed, the camera's shaking, everyone's panicking, and it's like that the level of control he's had up to this point never moved, it never wavered, it had been still. It's the typical everything is Wes Anderson style, and this one kept being Wes Anderson style even through that. It's just obvious that something shifted in this moment. And that was easily my favorite scene, like that moment whenever everything collapses.
Oh yeah, no, that's what the episode is building up to, and I guess now what the shorts are building up to. I didn't think about this at all. I thought the deepest I went was just like you want to be right so bad that whenever you're proven wrong, it feels like shit, and you just gotta put that feeling onto the other people in the room to make you feel better.
That's definitely the moral of this short in and of itself, for sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, you would feel like shit if you did drag a doctor all out of bed, you know, made this big... Dude laid there for hours as well. Yeah. Completely still. You don't gotta insult someone's character, though, you know, or just their person, because it's... I don't know.
Be racist.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't...
Got pretty flagrantly racist.
Wasn't expecting that. Yeah. I guess if... Yeah, that's weird.
I don't think this literally represents Wes Anderson in this sense. I don't think the characterization of him represents Wes Anderson.
What's he trying to say here? Yeah,
I think more
so.
in the grand scheme of things, I guess more the creation of this feels like it reflects Wes Anderson more than the character himself. But
him blowing up though, that's definitely like he starts jumping and you're just kind of like what, like
the camera's shaking and he's jumping up and down. Dev Patel is still talking to the camera, but he's panicking. He's looking back and forth, like that whole fucking brilliant little moment. And I mean, like that pretty much to the end, because it's probably what, minute and a half, maybe, if that, a minute.
Like it's not long at all. Yeah, and then
that happens. The dude walks to his car and he talks to Dev Patel for a brief time, and that's where we get my line where he's like, "I'm so sorry," and Dr. Ganderby goes, "You can't be."
It has one of those West lines. This one, I wonder if it remembers me. Like it felt like that. This one,
he owes you his life. No, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
you said, like you did a miraculous thing in there. You saved his life. He's like, no, I don't think so. It's like, no, I don't think so. Like, I didn't save his, like, wasn't even in danger in the first place, sort of thing. I think he was saying, and then he says, I forget why he says sorry, or is it like
he's sorry for him? He's sorry. He's like, I'm sorry that he did all that. Like, I'm sorry he said that. You didn't deserve. I'm so sorry. He goes, you can't be. Like there's this.
That's a nice shot too. Like the rear view mirror, like perfectly, so you could see his face as well through the whole thing. And just kind of like the fields in the background.
I love Ben Kingsley, man. Yeah. I'm praying these three,
dude,
just continue to be in Wes Anderson things.
Some great additions to the Westverse. This is, I don't know, it just works. And for some reason, Ben Kingsley, him just being a doctor. In this, I was like, this dude would kind of fuck as a Professor X. I don't know why. I'm like, just whenever the X-Men come back up in Marvel, like, he was in the 10 Rings, and what if this whole time he's
Trevor Slattery.
Yeah. No, he's been playing us the whole fucking time.
Yeah, right.
How did he communicate with that animal, dude? That animal, he said he just had a relationship with it. It'd be a lot easier to communicate if he could read his mind. I'm going deep in Marvel lore right now, but no, I think like Ben Kingsley just fits perfectly. Like
he got my performance for Dr. Ganderby here, and it was a very specific moment that it's whenever Benedict Cumberbatch kind of blows up at him the first time, and he's like, "Don't you think I know that?" And then he just, Dev Patel says something about how he just stared at him. He got so intense in his stare.
Yeah, and didn't even say a word, but he held him there.
There's that line that he says where it's you it's your line.
I have it. No, it was awesome. It's a line that's said but wasn't even spoken, just known amongst the room. Don't move, don't speak, damn you. You're not spoiling this now, you hear me? Yeah, he was like, just got real mean there.
And then Dev Patel building on it and being like, he looked to me, he looked to the fan, he looked to the ear, he looked to your beat. He never looked to Dr. Ganderby, but somehow Dr. Ganderby held him. Like it was like, that's who anchored him, even though he was never looking at him. And the shot of that fan too, by the way, very, very cool.
That was sick. There were a lot of cool shots in this. A lot of cool sets. Like whenever Dev Patel walks in the house for the first time, and then like it just like kind of rises out of the scene.
Dude, I went, yeah. The front of the house lifted. Emily and I were watching and I went, yeah. Like
I like that. That was my favorite, like in Henry Sugar, that was my favorite shot. Whenever like it kind of the reverse.
Oh, yeah.
Like another
everything dropped in, not rose. Yeah.
I liked that. Not my shot here. I really liked the it happened a few times. But this one in particular was the most satisfying to me. It was a split shot, like split screen, and on half, I guess it sat there for a little bit, but it was whenever he was like, I have this little elastic band that I'm going to tie around his bicep. I have this little alcohol that I swabbed him with, and then now I have the anti-venom. And it's just, you have Dev Patel on one side, and then Benedict Cumberbatch and Ben Kingsley on the other side. I don't know, doing their thing. And I don't know, it was just, I love how they break the fourth wall all the time and then not at the same time. Like there's a camera there at some points and they can show the camera, show the audience things, but then at some points it's not there and they're doing their thing in the scene.
But
a lot.
I actually went with a split shot as well. For my favorite, because that's super prevalent in this one, is that split down the middle. This is what we're doing. Mostly because it's the most interesting part of the little short for me, where I don't completely understand what's happened to Woods in the past, where this would, because he says it's the shot whenever he is in a hospital room with a scar down the top of his head with stitches in them. And there's the chloroform is smoking on the other side of the screen as he pours it in. He says something about how the smell brought back memories of nurses and doctors in a white room, and I have no idea what that must be about, but it's incredibly intriguing to just drop that little detail where Woods has been through something. And it was the only time we ever leave this setting.
Yeah.
I know we get like Dr. Ganderby's house.
Where are they? Where the hell are they? Is this based in any sort of reality at all? You know, is there like any war that's going on that they're currently in the middle of?
I'm like, is Dev Patel's wearing some sort of uniform? Is he in the British Army? Is that what it is? Is like
okay. Yeah, there could be some more going on there. Huh. Did they ever say what country they're in at all? Yeah, he is wearing a uniform.
There's a little patch on like his front left side.
Yeah, there is.
And I couldn't make out what it said, mostly because I just didn't try too very hard. But I know the top part says British. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what it says below that, but it's not very long and it's pretty clipped, so I just assumed it was Army.
Yeah, whoa, that shot is weird though, of him in the hospital. Yeah, like,
what's he say word for word? Can you hear that or read the subtitles there?
And during that shot?
Yeah.
The heavy, sickening smell of chloroform spread over the room, bringing faint, unpleasant memories of nurses and surgeons in a white room with a long white table. Ganderby was pouring steadily.
Yeah, like that's it. Like, he's got memories of a surgery that was performed on him at some point.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, it definitely says British. Maybe J-U-T-I? J-U? I don't know, it's very small. Maybe that's not even the English alphabet, actually. That could be a different... Yeah, I don't know what's on that patch, but I guess I didn't think about what else could have been going on here. Like, I took it as just very base value, as just what happened, like, just in the story, like, just the snake. And Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't know, I was just thinking, they're just in this house, and this dude has a snake on his stomach, and that's about, just needs to get it off, but...
Well, that's why, like, I thought that there's an intimacy projected onto Woods and Harry that you just kind of take as fact, even subconsciously, because for a man to show up to home, go to your bedroom, like that, like that's the first place you go, and like that whole thing, he's already laying there and stuff. Like you're at least roommates. At minimum, you know what I'm saying? But there's a certain intimacy to the going straight to somebody's room, and that's the first thing you're going to do that day or when you get home. So I'm curious if do you think there's something to Woods being a doctor? Maybe he's like, is there something there where that might be why he feels like he has some sort of grasp on the situation in comparison to Dr. Ganderby? Or is like there's just this one more than any of the others. You know, it felt the most straightforward, but there's a lot that just kind of flies under the radar
There could
because
be more there for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I wonder. Because at first I would have. I guess he's in his pajamas, so we wouldn't know if like Benedict Cumberbatch is also a soldier, you know, and they're just
right.
This is where they happen to be.
Yes, their
at
bungalow,
the time,
this is where they're
whatever.
bunking,
But like
yeah.
this does seem way more settled.
It seems
down.
like it's their bungalow, you know, like it seems like it's their home, you know.
It's definitely a lot more settled down. He's reading a book in bed too, you know, I don't know. And they have like a whole, it's like no one else is in the house other than them. It's not like they're being quartered by like a family, you know, or something like that. Like,
and given that it's a bungalow, it's not a very big home. We get the outside, we get the kitchen, and we get that one room. So it's you know, one room, one bed in that room. Feels intimate, you know, like there's an intimacy projected onto these characters, just not from the explicit, but from the implicit. Like what you see indicates that these two are very close without them ever going like these two are very close, you know, like there's a heavy implication that they are. And I like that. I like that method of storytelling because it immediately immerses you into the idea that, you know, obviously this is not run of the mill everyday sort of shit, you know, where I might have snake on me, you know, like, it's just, coming home, going to bed, you know, basically.
Is there anything more to the snake at all? Or is it just the fact that he thought there was something and then it ended up being nothing? Like they needed something to where, you know, it ended up being nothing and just a farce? Or like, is there any reason like to be a snake? In the first place, because they actually do have the snake in Roald Dahl chilling in his writing chair, has the snake in there. I don't know if that's a little stop motion little snake they got. Or
I don't know. I couldn't really tell. It looked pretty real.
Because if they were, there's no way it's. I don't know how they do that because it was moving
Slithering
in the jar while like Ray Fiennes is just talking. Yeah, I guess it does. That does look pretty real looking at it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm not real keen to the idea of what the snake would represent in a grander sense beyond a confidence in one's knowledge. You know, like it's. You get like I said, you get a little bit of the same thing you get from the rat catcher, where we have this man who is so confident and so certain of the circumstances that are happening and how to fix it. And then it turns out all of it was for nothing. None of that works. None of it even mattered. So why carry on? Like kind of, you know, and there's, I don't know. There is a really fascinating little, just kind of.
Seems like there's a backstory here, man.
Yeah, like there's this, and I love the way that they, you know, another thing that indicates an intimate relationship is his unquestioning trust of Harry. You know, he's like, there's a snake on my stomach. And he's like, there's a fucking snake on your stomach. You know, like that's if you said it, it must be right. You know, like if you said it, it must be true. You must at least absolutely think that. And then whenever the situation resolves itself, they're just so happy that nothing happened. They're happy that it's not there. Nothing happened. Whoopsie, little mistake, not a big deal. At least you're alive. And this dude almost seems like to be dead than be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's like, are you calling me a liar? He's like, no, dude. Like, mistakes happen. You thought there was a snake on your stomach. Like, it's not that big a deal. It's fine. I'm glad things worked out. And
it's almost like Ben Kingsley. Like he knew that Harry wasn't trying to be like that. He just knew that he was like trying to prove, like, he just knew he felt bad in the situation. You know, like, he kind of like, all right, I know what's happening. I'm just going to get out of here. Like, I'm not going to take this. He's like, I think he's like, all right, dude's being racist. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know?
Well, and Dev Patel's character really does not take kindly to that racism either. It's when he calls him that, he pulls a fucking knife on him.
That's true. He does pull a knife on him. Okay. Whoa. What's going on here? Yeah, it does. I don't know. In the IMDb little description paragraph, it says India, that they are in India.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's ever said in there.
I think the implication is that they're in India because Dr. 𝘾𝘼𝙏𝗏𝗏 is a local doctor and he gets racist about where they are. You know, like that's
I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to what slur or all I heard was kind of
the first
brown.
thing. I can't remember. He says where he's from the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says like you something somethingese something.
Yeah.
And then the next time he gets around to brown, you know, and like that's when you realize, oh, that's what he's. And there's an implication throughout, which is fascinating because he is willing to look at Dev Patel and he is willing to look at all these other, but he never does take kindly to Dr. 𝘾𝘼𝙏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
You know, even from the get-go. So is one of this character's traits that just that he's racist, or that he's explicit?
Seems like it. Yeah, because he never even looked at the doctor. Like he couldn't even. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm trying to.
But he's down with Dev Patel.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting little bit of contrivance there that I'm fascinated by, you know.
Bengali.
Bengalese, yeah, you Bengali.
Is that a city in India? Of Bengali is this of Bangladesh, which is that his own country? It's right next to India. It might be a state within India.
It's a country. It's a country in South Asia. I think it's a neighbor of India.
Okay, yeah, it's just right there. Okay. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I'm not very. I don't know if there's a conflict or a war or something where this kind of makes more sense. You know, where maybe he.
It would make sense. The British Army notoriously colonized and
I knew that
had a distinct presence in India, and if Dev Patel is a fighter for the British Army, maybe that's why he can accept Dev Patel in comparison to Dr. 𝘾𝘾𝙏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, just a native versus, I guess.
I mean, that's what's interesting is that like there's clearly something there, and
dude's a little racist. That's
for sure, no doubt. Yeah,
that's for sure. And I think the crux of it is that he didn't want to be proven wrong, but then there's also
he didn't want to be proven wrong by this guy.
Exactly. Yeah, the fact that it happened by someone.
Well, and there's another thing again with the pride thing where it's the perspective that he's being proven wrong at all. Like, be thankful that's not what happened.
Yeah,
you know, be thankful that you were wrong. Yes, you wasted a few hours by laying here like this. But you're alive, man. Why are you getting bogged down in these petty grievances where you are the bad guy here, you know?
I'm trying to see if there's. I'm looking up to see if there's anything more on the scar on his head, and someone. What? Note comes acknowledges that Roald Dahl named Woods after an RAF pilot killed in the Battle of Athens. This shows that Woods may have so much of a deeper story than it lets on. What? Oh, maybe there's more, like just known from the Roald
real
Dahl
story it's based on.
Actual story. Okay, I guess there might be more. I guess that's fair. This is based on on his stories, but yeah, I think this one it seems that there's more going on behind the scenes than any other. The others are kind of very cut and dry.
Yeah, you gotta read between the lines to a much deeper degree to get every little bit of this. I think that all of them have a depth to them. That there are people, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I saw a take yesterday that these shorts, if they were cut together, would be a better movie and a more sophisticated movie than Asteroid City. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I can absolutely see what would make someone think that, there is what's fascinating is I feel like this goes next to Asteroid City very, very satisfyingly as probably his most cerebral works, while this feels so much more like, oh yeah, cut and dry. It's right there. This is the story. We've talked for like an hour and a half longer in total about the 4 shorts than the shorts themselves consist of. Yeah. It's just there's a lot to parse through there that when it came to Asteroid City, it was still very cerebral and you had a tough time understanding it, but that was more about feeling it than understanding it. It was just you feel what this is about rather than breaking down what it's about through the implicit. It's
and it's a way different ball game too. Comparing a movie versus these shorts, but if you kind of imagine them all cut together.
I mean, they very obviously go together. I think the only reason that they're shorts is that Wes Anderson didn't want one of his movies going straight to Netflix. I guarantee you that's what it is. I think that if this could have gotten a theatrical release, he would have cut them together.
That's fair. Yeah, I love how all of every movie or anything he does, the companies at the beginning, no sound, whatever. Nope. Usually at the beginning of a Netflix, anything you hear the ba-dum, or whatever, nothing, just the logo. That's all you get. And yeah, I don't know. I liked you saying that this might be a very fourth wall. Wes and himself, feeling trapped, a story placed on top of him, have to write, you have to do this. He feels very trapped, and but I guess I don't see why he why he would become mad at the end, if he is projecting himself onto that, if what the ending would mean for him. Him blowing up and being, maybe he wants to, maybe he wants, that's how much how much energy he kind of has behind it, maybe I guess if he were to blow up and get angry.
Yeah, no, I think it's more directly in the film, it's more allegorical to his filmmaking at large, He has had this very controlled sense of exactly what he wants to do, exactly what he wants to make, exactly everything is done exactly how he envisions it, and the second something isn't done the way he envisions it, it feels like, oh God, the sky is fucking falling. This is how I create. This is how I make things. It's not necessarily that he's blowing up on actors or blowing up on executives. This is more a visual representation of the way that makes him feel,
Okay. Yeah. And maybe the race thing and why he likes woods so much maybe is he's comfortable with woods. He and the actors that he is comfortable with, and that he the actor director relationship he has, and how they kind of understand his work. A literal foreigner to him comes in and tries to do something, and that's when it goes
a Netflix executive.
They want to do good things, I guess maybe their intentions are good, making a good thing, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, Dr. 𝗫𝗀𝗏𝗏, it's hard to say that he's not in the wrong in any capacity in this. So that's what's interesting.
Dude just got either woken up or he was about to go to bed.
He's like, "You were still up.
happened.
What's up,
Yeah.
man? How you doing? Are you okay, buddy?" You know,
The-
who was bitten? It was like
Yeah.
that
An
whole thing.
explosion in my
Yeah.
ear said so quick. Yeah, it felt like an explosion. No, that's
Man.
that's why I went with Dev Patel for the performance because I liked his narration so much in this one. I thought he did a really good job as the narrator. Just very fast spoken, at times, and very just well spoken at that. Like I don't know, I just can't even talk that fast in general. But then they're doing it in a way that is actually pushing a story forward and speaking clear enough to like be understood. I don't know, it's just impressive, and like the emotion he has behind it too. I really liked his narration in this one. It stood out to me more than any other narration. That's why I put him down for the performance. But then you saying, I don't know, and maybe the rat catcher might have the best narration there. I think it's between these two though. Well, Rupert Friend, I don't know. In the Swan did pretty good. I'd say, I don't know. All of them. That's the thing. All of these shorts are great. There's not a single one that is like actively bad. And I think you can find like strengths in. I mean, I don't really think Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, he did, I guess, do a little, but he was just laying there for most of it.
I mean, he does. It's one of those things. It's different. It's weird compared to the shit he does usually, and
just even the shots, like the overhead when he's just on the bed, just seeing him like mad, and like just the facial acting he has to do, or like the whispering, and he's just sweating, and just he's agitated. Like he still did a good job. It's just very interesting that like you choose Benedict Cumberbatch for a role like that, where it's just you need one kind of flip out at the end. That's like kind of the main thing they have to do. But other than that, it's just, yep, all right, lay here. You'll whisper a few times and twitch your face a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, I liked Dev Patel for the performance, but character wise, I went with Dr. Ganderby, Ben Kingsley, just because. I mean, I don't know. He didn't do anything. Dude was chill. Came over, did his job, and got freaking some shade thrown at him, and just was like, all right, whatever. That's the world we live in. Gotta go. See you later.
No, I dig that. Yeah, I went with Woods for my character simply because he seemed so caring. He wanted so badly for his friend to be okay that he went to lengths that not a lot of people would have. It's so flustered in a moment where his friend is in danger that he's not even thinking straight, and the one who's in danger has to, the way he said it made me realize I should have already thought of it, that sort of thing. Like he feels bad, constantly. He always feels bad for the way he's handling it. He feels bad for the way he handled it. And I think that Dr. Ganderby just kind of tries to teach him that he can't feel bad all the time. It's like, hey man, you got to do what you got to do, and if they're going to do that, fuck them. That's kind of you. I'm sorry, you can't be. That's you have nothing to be sorry for. That's not your fault. That
was such a good line there, and then I know I needed to spread the love a little bit, but I think that is the line for the short, undoubtedly. But yeah, I don't know. When I was watching back, going through it, there was a lot of split shots. He used that a lot in this one.
It's a popular visual choice with the poison here.
I don't know. Did he do it in the other ones? I'm trying to think. Or was it
Henry Sugar got a little bit of the split screen treatment, but what was interesting about Henry Sugar is there were multiple times where it was only one half of the screen and the other half was black. Like
yeah.
Like it would very randomly switch to like a vertical aspect ratio on half of the screen. And again, I think that further emphasizes the sense of isolation in a lot of the characters.
Aspect ratio. He wanted.
There you go.
He's making his own TikTok shorts now.
He said, "Let me show y'all."
Yeah.
exactly how good this actually can be.
You fucking idiots with this. No, whatever. Let me show you how a pro does it. No, but I know this. Okay. I didn't think at all at this deep whatsoever into Poison, but I think it's definitely the one that gets me to think the most. Like
It warrants it.
Henry Sugar, it's more of like, oh, like I wish I could have this power and give back to hospital. Like it's just like, oh, that'd be cool if that was real. The Swan is more of just like, oh damn, that sucks and that's unfortunate. The Ratcatcher feels like a fever dream, but Poison, I don't know. It's got some oomph to it. It's got some backstory, some more backstory that I kind of, if I want a movie made on any of these, I think it's actually this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the characters you could flesh them out a little bit more, to be sure. There's a lot.
I want to know what's going on here. Yeah, I don't know. Feels like there's something more that we didn't get. Well, I don't know. I might take that back. I think the movie might just be Henry Sugar, a full-fleshed.
Yeah,
even
it's
more
pretty strong.
But I think we got more of Henry Sugar than anything else. So
oh yeah,
we only got 17 minutes of Poison. I need more of it.
Poison.
Mm-hmm.
Poison. Yeah, no, man. I really, really, really enjoyed this short. I thought that. I mean, I loved this weekend. You know, this was a brilliant few days where I got a little bit of Wes Anderson every day, and it was fucking wonderful. You know, I got Henry Sugar on Thursday. Was that Thursday or was it Wednesday? Henry Sugar on Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday,
the
Friday.
Swan on Thursday. Ratcatcher on Friday. Poison on Saturday, and then just a little cherry on top. I went and saw The Creator yesterday, the new Gareth Edwards movie.
Dude. For some reason, in my head, I thought that was coming out in like a month or so. No, and my dad was even like, "Hey, like that movie looks really, really cool." I don't know, that looks really cool. Like, do you know when that comes out? And I'm like, I think it's like a month or so. And then we literally see the commercial come on next, and it's like,
show it.
Oh, today, yeah. It's like I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, man. No, if you like Rogue One, it's the guy who directed it.
Well, come on. You know I like Rogue One, and it's got some more going for it. I mean, Star Wars is Star Wars. That's got a lot going for it, but this is just
completely original, man. Completely original sci-fi movie. It's very, very fun. So I had a great weekend, movie wise. Great weekend viewing wise. This
was great. This was fantastic. I myself got Wes and a little bit of some Martin Scorsese, so I'm eating as well.
We live
Martin
good.
Scorsese first watches. So
we living good. Yeah,
I think that's it though. Oh, I didn't log it. I'm up. Got to get better at logging on Letterboxd what I watch. But yeah, just Wes and Martin Scorsese for me over this weekend.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did some horror first watches this weekend in anticipation of our 5x5 eventually. You know, I was like, I got to get some more under my belt. So
it is October officially. It is that time.
October. Yes. So I've been adding a little bit to the repertoire there.
I need to do that.
But yeah, how about a rating for Poison? What are we feeling here?
Okay, enjoyment.
The more we talked about it, the more I think I like it. You know, it was originally one
was easily the last, but now is it still the last? No,
I mean that's the thing is they're all so fucking good. Like it might be tied for last. You know, like is it an 8.5 with the Swan? Do you like this as much as the Swan? Yeah. Then I
think
because I don't know that I.
Yeah, I don't think I could put it below.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. But Ratcatcher, you feeling an 8.75 there? Deep thought. Deep thought.
Yeah, I don't know. This is weird. They all stand in their own spot. Like at one point, I was like, "Oh yeah, Poison." That's like comfortably at the bottom. That's my last one. Now I'm like, I think I like it more than the Ratcatcher, which means I liked it more than the Swan, if the enjoyment scores are to be believed.
Yeah, right.
So like now it's 2, and I'm like, is it just because I'm talking about it, right now, and like it's the one I'm just actively thinking about?
No, yeah, I think that more than anything, the most important thing is the way that it makes you feel when you watch it. I know that we talked about it a lot, and the more cerebral and implicit aspects of it do make it a fascinating viewing. But I do think that straight up from the content of the story, the one that we are given when I'm watching it, I do think it's bottom 2. I still stand by that. Like, I think that an 8.5. Yeah, shit, I'd give it an 8.75. I wouldn't have a problem with that and tying it with the Ratcatcher, but I think that's its range. I think 8.5 or 8.75 is the way to go.
Ooh, I think feels weird. Feels weird to give it. Well, I think it's right. I think this one is less enjoyable a little bit than the Ratcatcher, but it is definitely better made. Like I'd say. So I think 8.5 might be there for the enjoyment, but like its floor is 8.5 for the critical.
I'd agree. I'd agree completely.
Which
the stagecraft of this one, the performances, it's just this was shit. You could probably make the argument this was the best one.
I'd say it's either this
or
the Swan was pretty good.
The Swan, or like I said, I think that Henry Sugar and the Ratcatcher probably my 2 favorites, but the Swan and Poison probably the 2 best. It's I do think that's the case.
Is that just gonna make it an 8.5 as well, which would just make it an 8.5 and tie it with the Swan and Henry Sugar?
Yeah, does it make it all the way across the board 8.5s except for Ratcatcher at an 8.4?
The Ratcatcher, although it was a little bit more enjoyable, just kind of suffered a little bit.
Yeah, critically, it wasn't on the same level, I don't think, as some of the other ones, And then Henry Sugar was just even more enjoyable, that's all, It's.
I think 8.5 is fair for critical as well.
So we're putting it on the exact same level as the Swan across the board.
Yes. But Henry Sugar would be a little bit more enjoyable, but not as well made, not quite as well made. And then Ratcatcher, a little bit more enjoyable and as well, not as well made. And I think, that seems right. Little 3-way tie.
Man, yeah. So overall, this weekend was an 8.5. I think we can comfortably assume that would be about the average there.
Good weekend.
8.5, 8.5, 8.5, 8.4.
See, IMDb gives the Ratcatcher a 6.7.
Believe it.
And it gives Poison a 7 out of 10.
I believe that. I think we've grown to enjoy Wes and appreciate his style a little bit more than the average person does.
This is true. I don't know. It's so nice just to see. It's nice to see something else.
It is. He's so fucking original, and these were just bleeding originality. It was so fucking good.
Rotten Tomatoes, not very many reviews are in. Fewer than 50 ratings. The Ratcatcher is 68% in the audience. And then Poison, let's see, probably even 74. So people like Poison a little more. I think that makes sense.
Across our director spotlights, it's looking like it's just a little bit below The Prestige, a little bit. I mean, across the board, a little bit below Isle of Dogs, a little bit below Life Aquatic a little bit above the Royal Tenenbaums, a little bit above Rushmore, and above Bottle Rocket. So it finds its place in a nice middle spot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot we like more, and a little we like less. So I think that's fitting.
There we are. I think my own personal list, I think 𝘾𝘼𝗱𝗏𝗏 is kind of comfortably at the top for me.
Yeah.
And then the Swan, I think the Swan is pretty comfortably too. Poison and Ratcatcher are kind of interchangeable, I'd say, a little bit. But I think I'd actually put Poison above now after talking through it.
Yeah, no, that's so hard, I don't even know, because I don't want to put the Swan at the bottom. That doesn't feel right to me, but then I'm like thinking about it.
I feel like the Swan is the least enjoyable, but the most emotionally impactful, so it's a different kind of enjoyment there.
Right. Yeah, because for me, I think I'd go 𝘾𝘼𝗱𝗏𝗏. I think I'd go Ratcatcher. I think Ratcatcher is my second favorite. I really, really enjoy watching that one.
Okay.
And then the Swan and Poison, they're just there, they're both right there. I don't know if I could put one over the other, but I do think 𝘾𝘼𝗱𝗏𝗏 and Ratcatcher are top two, and those are bottom two for me, enjoyment wise. But yeah.
Total runtime of this is a little over an hour of Wes.
Hour and a half. Yeah, 17, 39. So 51 plus 39. Hour and a half on the dot.
4 days was a great week. It was nice. It was a nice treat.
Oh, it was very, very nice. I loved it.
At the end of the year. So yeah.
Yep. Can't wait for whatever's next. Hopefully we get a little Benny boy back. Hopefully a little Dev Patel. Both Benny boys, I should say. Benedict Cumberbatch and Ben Kingsley. Hope we get both of them. Dev Patel, Rupert Friend.
Need them all.
If Jeffrey Wright was in these shorts, it might have been perfect.
Dude,
they might have been 10s across the board.
One Jeffrey Wright narration. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck.
Damn it. That's okay. Chapter 1. We have Asteroid City.
We do have Asteroid City. But yeah, with that, I think we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom podcast and be done with Wes until whatever's next. And who knows how far away that might be. We'll see. But we will be covering it whenever it comes. If that's a year from now, if it's 2 years from now, regardless, it'll happen. But yeah, if you're into our director spotlights, keep coming back this week. Wednesday and Friday, we are kicking off our Martin Scorsese director spotlight in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon. This Wednesday is The King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro, and Friday is After Hours. I'm very, very excited. We have such a great slate of movies, and those are a couple good episodes we've already recorded, and I'm excited for you to hear. 6 movies in anticipation of Killers of the Flower Moon, making it our second longest director spotlight, behind Wes Anderson, of course. We've covered literally everything Wes Anderson has done that is 17 minutes or longer. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I cannot wait for that movie to come out. So we got a lot to look forward to. We're going to continue Winter is Blooming on Mondays for the next few weeks as well. Game of Thrones rewatch. We'll be done with season 5 within the next few weeks. We got season 5, episode 7, 8, 9, and 10 over the next month. And I'm very, very excited for that. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff cooking. Halloween, we got our 5x5 Halloween edition coming. We did Valentine's Day a few months back, and that was surprisingly one of our most popular episodes of all time. So I figured, why not try and do a Halloween one? It'll be a lot of fun. I'm very, very much so looking forward to it. For a holiday, I appreciate a lot more than Valentine's Day. So
Halloween flux. All around win situation. Candy, cool costumes. It's just a massive cosplay day. And there's just a bunch of great movies to accompany Halloween, so why not talk some of those movies? And that's what we'll be doing for our 5x5. We'll nail down the categories and kind of announce those closer to the release. But yeah, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially.
which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and to continue downloading. That is a huge help, and it's been a great few months in a row. Hopefully October can keep us running in the same, running on the same level. I'm very, very happy with where we're at. We're very close now to my goal for the year, and we still have October, November, and December. So I'm very, very confident we'll get there, so long as everyone's downloading. So thank you very much. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And you gotta be clever on this job. Cleverer than a rat. And that is saying something.